So, with all the business out of the way, let's go ahead and get right back into rolling some sixes. Let's roll some sixes. Who's ready for some chat? Who's ready for some sixes? I need some more sixes in my life. I also need to launch Joy to Key. Professional streamer here, folks. Don't worry, I got this. I've been doing this for years. Hey! Also, I fixed these. Check it out. They're fixed. I fixed them. I'm the best. God damn it, I said I would. I think everybody's having fun. I think that's what we're getting here. We had a club activity. It was fun. It was a very humid day. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer. It wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows, but the lack of wind evoked an impression far removed from coolness. In fact, it only felt more oppressive. There were crooked houses and apartments lining the narrow, twisting road. In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to rot, as well as bicycles and cars on the sides of the road, making it even more cramped, more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. Nobody was in this place at the time was visiting it voluntarily, but in spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. The motorcycle stopped in front of a two-story apartment, one that could hardly be called neat, even as flattery. A man, fairly old and wrinkled, stepped off. When a nearby housewife hanging out laundry noticed him, she called out, "Only, konnichiwa. Kyou mo atsui katte."
Yeah, atsui ne. Konna atsui to yudachimatte kanane yo.
Don't ever laugh like that again. Don't do that. Suddenly, I got goosebumps all over my body. I felt like something bad was about to happen for no reason. Everyone gets this feeling in a different way. Some people get a twitch in their eyelids and some kind of movement in their ears. In my case, I get goosebumps. Satoko was supposed to be cooking dinner tonight. We didn't have much inside the refrigerator, so I asked her to go grocery shopping. I was just watching TV and relaxing while I waited for her. She was usually back by the time my cartoon was over, after which she'd start cooking dinner. But my cartoon was over, the news had started, and Satoko wasn't home. Bitch! Where's my dinner? Satoko sometimes waited until they had a sale at the store. In that case, she'd usually come home late. That must be what was happening. It was too early for me to start worrying about her. But, I can't explain this feeling. I can't explain it, but I feel extremely worried. Once I started feeling like that, I couldn't just sit in the room and wait for her.
Hanyu, iru?
I thought she might know where Satoko might be, but she's never around when I need her. Hanyu's not with me 24 hours a day. She sometimes falls asleep, or sometimes she goes out for walks. Though in her case, it's not a walk, it's more like a stalk. She follows people around when she finds someone interesting and she enjoys observing them. Oh no, Hanyu! I don't think you're helping, sweetie. Anyway, I had no choice. I'd have to find Satoko on my own. I had a good idea of which stores Satoko goes to. I should check those first. We're in Hinamazawa. If I asked people, they'd tell me where she went.
Are, Rika-chama de ne desu kai? Arigataya.
ニパー。それより今日、さとこが買い物に来なかったですか？
さとこちゃんの顔は見てないね。私がずっとお店番してたから、来れば見てるんだけどね。
I didn't even have time to say thanks. I ran to the next store. People were greeting me and waving at me. I'd usually smile and greet them back, but I had no time for that at the moment. Satoko! I need Satoko in my life! I was able to survive for so long because of her support. Without her, this would be so empty and boring. Satoko is nonchalant and optimistic, unlike me. I've learned so many things from her over the past 100 years, but I still need to learn more from her.
Satoko! Satoko!
People stared at me as I ran by them, screaming out her name. I didn't care what they thought, though. Satoko! 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 Why are you looking at me like that? I'm looking for Satoko! Somebody tell me where she is! My heart was convulsing inside my body like a fish out of water. What little stamina I have. I hate my body for being so young.
角のお惣菜屋さんが夕方に売れ残りを安くするでしょう。そこに行ってるかもね。
It's way too hot inside to be wearing a coat. That was really dumb of me. I went to a few different places, but I still couldn't find her anywhere. The people I talked to gave me advice on where to go, but I couldn't find her in any of the places they suggested. Yo, Elrock! How's it going? We lost our friend. We can't find her. I continued to run, looking for her. I continued to run even when I bumped into other people.
さあ、どうだろう。夕
You're
方
doing
は
well,
人が
Elrock.
たくさん来るから覚えちゃいないかもしれん。
There are only a few places in Higurashi where you can go grocery shopping. It shouldn't be that difficult to find her, so why couldn't I? Wah! I tripped on something in the street and fell flat on the ground. Just finished a run, which fits the story apparently. Exactly. You were just immersing yourself. I injured my hand on a small rock embedded on the ground. I didn't feel much pain, even though I said ouch. It just felt hot, as if I'd touched a frying pan. Suddenly, someone handed me a pretty handkerchief.
大丈夫？怪我とかしなかったかな？レナ、サトコを見なかったですか？
Rena was carrying a grocery bag. I'd heard that Satoko bumps into Rena often when she goes grocery shopping. They tend to choose the same stores.
サトコちゃんを？今日は見てないよ。
I need to watch your VOD for Faith, though. That is a game that looked really interesting, but I had to start streaming by the time that you kind of started getting deep into it. So I'm gonna have to watch the rest of that.
サトコちゃんがお買い物の日だったの？そうです。会っていませんですか？わからないな。今日がサトコちゃんのお買い物の日なら絶対にスーパーひなみ沢の特売日を逃さないと思うもん。でもレナもスーパーにいたけど会わなかったし。
My brain wasn't getting enough oxygen. It took me a while to understand what Rena was talking about. I understood that Rena didn't see Satoko, but that wasn't the point. They had a huge sale at the market today? There's no way that Satoko would miss that sale, but she still didn't see her there. What was that supposed to mean?
何かあったの？サトコちゃん、お財布とか家の鍵でも忘れちゃったかな？
I couldn't find the right words to explain. Should I tell her I feared that something bad happened to Satoko and that's why I was looking for her? No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't think too deeply about why she hadn't returned home.
どうしたの？困ってるなら力になるよ。話して。
I knew she was just trying to help me, even though I needed someone to help me just a few moments before, but now that she was here, I had no idea what I was supposed to say. No, that's not it. The truth is, I know. Somehow, I know. I wouldn't have to know if it was someone else, if I was someone else, but I know, but I have to know this. Rika Furude has to know what's going on. I know it. I remember it. I knew this was coming. I've experienced a world before where Satoko suddenly disappeared, but the possibility for that happening is as low as Akasaka showing up in Hinamizawa. It only happened randomly in the other lives. This is not the first time. It happened before too. I could see it in myself. I needed to see if I'd gotten stuck inside a devastating world again.
力になるから話して。ごめんなさいです。さよなら。
Rika, that's not what we agreed on! We agreed to talk to our friends! This is you're ruining it! I started running. I couldn't pretend like I didn't know where she was. I'm getting a bad feeling. Please don't tell me that I was blessed only up to this point. that I'm about to fall back into my unfortunate fate from here on. Oh no. I thought this world was different. I thought I could move on to a happy future. I thought I would be able to defeat my deadly fate in this life. But this was just horrible. It was horrible that this was happening to this world. Oh no. I was standing in front of the place that I hate the most in Hinamizawa. Yes, it's Satoko's real home, the Hojo residence. I've been living with her since last fall, so this house was empty. In the beginning, she used to come back here to pick up her clothing and other necessities, but once she moved most of her stuff to my house, Satoko stayed away from this place. This was a sad place for Satoko because all she could remember of it was the horrible time she spent with her uncle and aunt and the memory of her missing brother Satoshi. That's why she never wanted to come back here, but that wasn't the reason I hate this house. It's because I know what happens whenever this house becomes an issue in my life. Oh God, please. Please bless me with just one more fortune. I closed my eyes and prayed, then I slowly opened them. The window was open on the second floor. I saw a faded curtain swinging inside. As soon as I saw that, my knees realized what was going on, even before my mind processed it. In the next moment, I lost strength in my legs and collapsed to the ground. I saw an unfamiliar motorcycle parked by the house. I also saw laundry and a futon hanging outside. I was certain that someone was living here. It was proof that someone was living inside this house. It's never good when there's someone living inside this house. This was very, very bad. I knew exactly why. I knew why, but I felt like I wanted to act like I didn't know. Oh no! You are already dead inside! Shit!
Satoko!
Satoko went outside to take the futon out and noticed me.
Rika?
Satoko looked down and forced herself to smile. I felt so sad. It wasn't just her expression. I could tell that her left cheek was red and swollen. Oh man, we're already here. Oh no! Oh boy.
Satoko, こんなとこにいないで、お家へ帰りましょうです。
I took her hand, but she still looked down without squeezing back.
リカ、私、今日からこっちの家で暮らそうと
No,
思います。
you're not! No, 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 this is bad. No,
どうしてなのですか？私のおじさんが帰ってきましたの。
Oh, that's just...
それで、こっちの家で一緒に暮らそうって話になりまして。聡子はそんなの望んでないはずなのです。意地悪なおじさんなんかと一緒に住んで楽しいはずがないのです。でもどうしようもありませんわ。リカの家へ帰っても連れ戻されるだけですもの。リカに迷惑がかかってしまいますわ。
No, cause us all the trouble, please. Go live with Shion. I want to see the old man stand up to her. She gave up with a sad smile. She looks exactly how she looked 1 year ago in 1982. Her uncle only slapped her in the face, and she's back to being Satoko from 1982. The cheerful Satoko that I knew until yesterday could no longer be found. I took care of Satoko and tried to heal her wounded heart for over a year. She finally got her smile back, but her uncle took it away with just one slap to her face. A broken soul can recover over time, but her damaged heart can never be fixed completely. I just took the broken pieces and put them back together. The cracks in her heart will always be there. That's why she wouldn't come with me no matter how hard I tried to pull her hand. She couldn't get over the fear. She knew just how scary her uncle could be.
Satoko! なんねほったらかんどこ行きよんねん
I heard a disgusting voice from inside the house. Satoko stared at the ground. Her shoulders were shaking.
なあなんじゃよそれは
He came out and stood right behind her.
なんでもありませんの。お友達と会っただけですのよ。
したらんどうでもええんねんそれよか風呂け磨かんかい風呂けわしは風呂に入りたいしちゃったなこら
Satoko scampered back inside the house like a terrified small animal. I feel devastated as I watch her go.
遊びの約束だったかい。すまんの。ちょいと聡子は家の片付けで忙しいんよ。わしは聡子の叔父なんね。ちょっと長いこと出張に出とってん。ようやくひなみ沢に戻ってきたわけなんよ。
Liar. He only showed back up because his lover went missing. In another world, I once let my hatred out on him. Whoa! But then he inflicted that anger in equal turn onto Satoko, so I couldn't allow that dark flame burning within my chest to reflect in my eyes. Since I couldn't make myself smile and I couldn't insult him, all I could do was give him a short bow and run away from the scene.
なんだ、泣く子も黙るわしのガンにビビってもうたんかいね。
I heard his hideous laughter from behind me. I cried as I ran away. I couldn't stop crying. I thought this was a perfect world up until today. Why was God doing this to me? It was too cruel, but I couldn't give up yet. I couldn't do anything, but I still had hope for this world. I didn't think the luck I had until yesterday was just a random thing. I went back to my house in a hurry. I needed to make a phone call. I didn't know the number because it was my first time calling the place. I looked inside the phone book and found it easily. I made a call to that number.
これはどうもどうも。フルデさんからお電話をいただけるなんて思いませんでした。何かございました？
I already knew that Oishi could never save Satoko, based on what I'd seen in my previous lives. For him, Satoko is only a good way to get at the Sonozaki family. Her uncle is probably his prey in that regard, too. Even if I talked to him about her situation, he would do nothing to save her. The only thing he'd tell me would be to call the Child Consultation Center.
赤坂とお話ししたいのですが、
Give the
今すで
phone
すか？
to the good cop!
赤坂さんですか？
I'm just kidding, there are no good
すぐに行って
cops.
ますよ。和倉温泉。
Oh no! What? Are you shitting me? Wakura? That's not anywhere near here. I thought he was staying here until
なんで
Watanagashi.
も温泉宿をやってる親類にご厄介になれるとかだそうで。いやいや、羨ましいことです。え？和倉ですか？石川県ですよ。能登半島の。
Oh, wow, yeah. No way. He told me that he was staying here until Watanagashi. I thought he meant he was staying in Hinamizawa. But did he actually mean this area of the country in
赤坂と
general?
連絡は取れませんですか？
This was a meaningless question. There's no way I could get him to come here while he's enjoying his trip with his wife. Even if I can talk to him on the phone, he'll probably only tell me to call the Child Consultation Center or something.
お泊まりの旅館は聞いてませんしね。ものすごい高級旅館だって言ってたから、多分某有名なあそこだろうなとは思うんですがね。まあ最近の宿はガードが固いから部屋番号も知ってないと繋いでくれませんしね。
わかりました。もうでも赤坂は綿流しのお祭りに来るとは言ってませんでしたか？
そうです。こちらへは能登への行きと帰りに滞在されるんですよ。
Okay, so he is going to be here, but this is a long time to need to hold
だから
out.
先日も一泊されてくつろがれた後、すぐ立たれました。だから綿流しの直前にまたこちらへ戻ってきて滞在されると思います。あなたにお土産を買ってくると言ってました
A
よ。
souvenir for me. All right, a great souvenir would be save my friend. That'd be a great souvenir. How terrible. I thought it was too good to be true. I knew it was kind of strange for him to stay in a boring place like this. My luck seems to be turning. This might not be a surprise, though. Just like I can roll 6 3 times in a row, I can roll a 1 3 times in a row, too. Happy things and unhappy things can happen with equal probability.
もしもし、何か伝言があるなら会った時に伝えておきますよ。
I looked at the calendar on the wall. I didn't know when he was coming back, but I was certain it wouldn't be for at least one more week. I thought back to the past to try and remember what happened. The guy will break Satoko apart in 1 week. I couldn't wait that long. I had to give up on seeking help from Akasaka. Well, that's okay. I still had one more option. One more person I could rely on.
いえ、いなければいいのです。ありがとうですよ。おい、ニパー。
I hung up the phone after thanking him. She even knee-paws on the phone. I couldn't make a phone call to the next person. I'd have to talk to him in person. I put my shoes on and headed for the EDA clinic. The clinic's hours were over for the day. There's usually no one there after that. However, since Tomitake was there, he should still be inside the building for a meeting. They had to be there. The front door of the clinic was locked, as I expected. I went around to the back and rang the doorbell. The whole clinic is nervous when Tomitake is around. They usually ignore visitors, but I'm special.
どうしましたか？緊急の要件と聞きました。
私まで用とあっては穏やかな話ではなさそう。
Okay. Little help from our friends here. We know that these people can do something to protect us. So let's just hey, you know what? Protect my friend too. Irie and Takano showed up soon after I was taken to the visitor's room. If Rika Furude has an emergency, this is a priority for these two people. I'm the most important person in this village.
ひょっとして例の件ですか？誰かに狙われているという。
あなたの近辺は常時山犬の中でも特に優秀な連中が警護してくれているわ。
I get that this is a translation. I think Yamainu sounds better than mountain dogs. Just me.
あなたとあの日した約束をちゃんと守っているわよ。
In the original localization, we left it too. I had no doubt about that. They saved me right away when we had the confrontation with those 3 delinquents the other day.
そうではないのです。お願いがあるのです。
How do y'all feel about murder? Y'all like murdering people? Y'all got people that could maybe do that?
サトコの危機を救ってあげてほしいのです。
サトコちゃんに何かあったんで
Yeah,
す
we
か？
said the magic word. We got his attention. Irie doesn't have that much power alone, even if he really wants to save her. But Takano controls the mountain dogs, so she does have that power. In my previous lives, I was never able to get help from the mountain dogs because I wasn't on good terms with Takano. But this world is different. I have a better relationship with her in this life, and she even kept the promise she made. I trust their ability completely now.
あの北条哲平さんがですか？なんてことでしょう。
It was mainly Satoko's aunt who was abusing her last year, but Irie knows that her uncle was violent with her too. I told them that Satoko had gone back to the same conditions she was in the
この
previous
ままで
year.
はいつ何があるのかわかりませんです。サトコを助け出すために力を貸してほしいのです。
Irie seemed to want to do something for her, but he didn't know exactly what to do.
こういうのはどうすればいいんでしょう。やはり警察に相談した方がいいでしょうか。
さてどうかしら。現時点では何も起きていないわけでしょう。
そんなのは時間の問題なのです。このままでは大変なことになってしまうのです。
I hate to say it, but it's only a matter of time. I know how she was going to get abused and how she was going to end up. I've seen it in the past. I really wanted to tell them about it, but I couldn't do that. And it hasn't happened in this world yet. They'd just think I was imagining it.
多分こういうのはまず沖宮の生活相談所に訴えるのが先じゃないかしら。
そういえば以前サトコちゃんが児童相談所に虚偽の通報をしたなんてことがありましたね。
That's right! Oh, right. We don't change the past. We don't change things that aren't under our control in this game. So this still happened.
ちゃんと話を聞いてくれるといいのですが。
Oh, this is but. The answer is no. My friends contacted the Child Consultation Center several times in the past, but Satoko always refuses their help. She claims that she isn't being abused. The Satoko from 1983 might have asked for their help, but currently, she was the Satoko from 1982. For her, living with her uncle reminds her of the time when Satoshi was around. She feels like Satoshi will come back if she can live strongly without always relying on her brother. Even if the Child Consultation Center were to take the case seriously, it's just too late. I tried to remember. In the most recent world I experienced, it only took a few days after Satoko was kidnapped by her uncle. It only took a few days for him to tear her heart apart. We had no time to waste. We needed to take action quickly.
さとこちゃん自身が助けを求めてくれないことには助けようがないのが悔しいです。
入江先生の方から警察やお役所に連絡することもできるとは思うけど、そこまでが限界ね。気の毒とは思うけど。違う
のです。高野の力で里子を助け出してほしいのです。
Irie and Takano looked shocked and both went quiet. They didn't expect me to seek help from Takano.
それは強硬的な手段に訴えろということですか？
Maybe.
僕はそういうお願いをしに、今日そうでなければこんな時間に押しかけたりしませんです。
お気持ちはわかります。ですが、
入江、里子を大事に思うなら、どうか一生のお願いなのです。里子を助けてくださいなのです。里子はあと何日もしないうちに本当にひどいことになってしまいます。それは決まっていることなのです。もうしばらく様子を見てみようでは見殺しにするのと全く同じなのです。入江は去年の里子をもう忘れてしまったのですか？
Yeah, like we will yo, y'all need a body to play around with? We got one!
もうそうなっているのです。今この瞬間にも。そしてあと数日で取り返しのつかないことになってしまうのです。
All I could do was stare at him, believing that Irie could see the future. Only I knew the tragic end awaiting Satoko reflected in my eyes. Irie remained silent for too long a time to call brief. Someone trying to think of some excuse to avoid the issue wouldn't go silent that long. He was recalling Satoko's terrible state last year and seriously considering if my plea was as urgent as I made it out to be. I know that he really cares about her. That's why I need his help.
どうしようかしらね。
Give him a scrapbook! Irie nodded and looked up. I guess he finally came to a conclusion. I just hope it's a positive one.
高野さん、リカちゃんの頼みを聞いてあげてください。
We're gonna take this, we're gonna do it, huh?
去年、里子ちゃんに何の手も差し伸べられなかった無力さに悩んだことがあります。これは、その時傍観して手を尽くさなかった私が罪を滅ぼす唯一のチャンスだと思います。
しかし、そうはおっしゃいますけれど。
Takano didn't think that Irie would make that decision. She seemed shocked to hear his
当施
response.
設の責任者として正式に高野さんにお願いしたいと思います。里子ちゃんをどうか助けてあげてください。
The monster book.
入江先生、助けるという言葉がどういう意味か少し分かりかねます。どうか落ち着いてください。
里子ちゃんは我々にとって欠かすことのできない存在です。これまでも、そしてこれからも我々の研究に最大限貢献するでしょう。
Okay, but it can't be one of our friends that does it. That's one of the key points here. Is like, we gotta keep our hands clean. Because this happy future doesn't work if somebody from our group does a bad.
本件は高野さんの職務に含まれるものとお察しします。
Irie continued, though Takano tried to persuade
所
him.
長、入江京介としてお願いいたします。
Are you just gonna like pull the boss card now?
高野さん、どうか里子ちゃんを救ってください。
I stared into Takano's eyes together with
高野
him.
も里子と仲良しだったはずです。
Yeah, Takano. I thought you and Satoko were friends.
里子の友人
Don't
と
you
し
love
て
your friend?
助けてあげてくださいです。
助けてくださいという言い方がお二人とも実に偽善的ね。
Okay, just a random hatchet. Okay. You're not telling me to kidnap her and lock her up somewhere safe. You want me to help her so she can have a normal, happy life.
それはつまり、おじの方を何とかせよという
Well, now, I'm not the one that put the word dead on the table. I just want that to be very clear here that Little Miss Blonde Nurse is the one to have played that tile. She's the one that dropped the death. She's the one that dropped the death tile in her discard pile. I just want that stated for the record.
卑怯な言い方をすれば、妖精に対しどう対処するかを決定する権限が高野さんにあります。でもそれが卑怯ならば、私がはっきりそれを口にしても構いません。
入江先生、いえ、入江所長。
Section Chief.
そのご命令を実行すれば、私は無論、そして入江所長も責任を問われることになりますが、その覚悟は終わりですか？
I looked at his face. Unlike me, Irie has many things to lose. I knew that Takano's words would shake him emotionally. However, Irie was determined.
ええ、構いません。申し開きをする場へ引き出されても、自身の心を裏切るよりはるかにマシです。
Because I think Irie might have a good heart here. I think he might be a weirdo. He might be playing mad scientist, but I think he might have a good heart. I think he genuinely cares.
左門がどういうものかもご存じないのに、大した虚勢だことで。
高野さんが上手にやってくだされば、東京に知られずに済みます。
Tokyo.
それで誰もが円満に決着できませんか？
リスクばかりで見返りのない仕事ね。
高野が望むなら神社の宝物を
That's
他
literally
に
all
も
I
たくさ
got.
ん見せてあげますです。
I'll give you your 10,000 yen back.
もう見せるのを意地悪したりしないです。だから今回だけ助けてほしいのです。
The risk she's taking is larger than the reward I'm offering, but that's about the only thing I can offer her. I don't care about the traditions of the Furude Shrine as long as I can save my friend from her suffering.
わかりました。これじゃ私が悪者みたいだものね。
She forced a smile and accepted the favor I asked
ありがと
her
う、高野さん。
どういう風に助けるかは一任いただきます。具体的なプランは後でお好みと相談します。
for. Okanogi? The gardener?
後ではダメです。今でないとダメなのです。
She promised to save Satoko, but she still wasn't motivated for it. It'd be too late if she didn't do something right now. I tried to make Takano understand that this was an urgent matter.
そうですね。リカちゃんも、そして私も、今この場でしっかり納得のいく決着がつくことを願っています。
We want our murder and we want it right now!
こんな時間にせかして申し訳ありませんが、どうかお願いできませんか？
二人とも聡子ちゃんのこととなると目の色が違うんだから。少し待たせるかもしれませんがお待ちください。
無理を聞いてくれてありがとう。
I think that was the name of the gardener, wasn't it? Okanogi Gardeners? In Sumihoraboshi? Was that not the
私
name?
の給与査定者の頼みですもの。笑顔でお引き受けいたしますわ。リカちゃんはさっきの約束絶対に忘れないでよ。
Murder flavor instant noodles? Yes. After 5, I don't know what you know about this arc so far. But there's a lot going right. We've learned a lot about the people we are currently talking to on screen. This arc is a lot. There's so much going on. But the unfortunate thing now is, with everything going right, the uncle is back. Satoko's uncle is back. And this is very bad.
きっとなのです。神社に来た時はおまんじゅうとお茶もつけますのです。
So now we're trying to bribe Takano, who I guess has a hit squad or something? Because she has people that are protecting Rika right now. And we're trying to get her to use those people to kill the uncle. Takano smiled slightly and left the room. Once we finally heard her footsteps fade away, the tension in the room dissolved. Irie offered me something to drink, but I refused. He must have thought everything was taken care of, but I couldn't relax until Satoko was physically returned to me.
さとこですが、お薬とかは大丈夫なのですか？
No, no, not this!
おじはさとこが逃げ出すと思って家から出さないと思いますから、もうここへ来ることはできないと思います。
Also, Satoko's really, really sick with something and we don't know what it is. She's been being treated for this apparently the whole time. Oh yeah, you've got so much vodding to catch up on after 5. Oh boy. This arc has been a trip.
幸いなことに先週まとめて針と薬を渡してあります。ですのでしばらくは問題ないでしょう。ただ強い精神負担は薬でも抑えきれません。
You were also informed something on Twitter that's very important. What was that? Oh! The tree! The fucking tree! Can't believe it. Of all things constant, the tree will remain the most constant.
少しずつ追い詰められ、いつか取り返しのつかないことになるでしょう。
Yeah, prepare for some buckets. Lots of buckets. There's so much bucketing going on.
そのいつかというのはほんの数日後の話なのです。
Yeah, like, that looks like to be something that, like, she just kind of inadvertently blew the cover on, but we also had reason to doubt. Takano hadn't come back yet. I thought it would be bad news if she came back too early, so I started feeling nervous after she had taken so long. Irie insisted I go home because it was getting very late. I couldn't go home to relax, however, until I heard from her that everything was taken care of. I had to wait for her to come back. I needed to deal with this tension until then. Over an hour later, Takano finally returned.
お待たせ。
Give us the good word.
ああ、いかがでしたか？
She was looking for the right word. Oh no. I got a very bad feeling from her reaction
残念
alone.
だけど、簡単にいかなくなったわ。
どうしてですか？
つい最近、沖宮で殺人事件があったらしいの。その事件に何らかの関与があると疑って、北条哲平を警察がマークしてるらしいわね。
They can't get close to him. Oh, it's bureaucratic. It's just like, he's dirty, man. They're not gonna touch him. Because whatever these people are into is probably shady as shit. They don't want to get caught.
事件？何ですかそれは？
間宮とかいう女が園崎家の上納金に手を出して
Okay. Yep.
見せしめに
That's
殺さ
what
れたとか
happened.
なんとかで。
Good night, Mamiya-chan.
警察が北条家と園崎家の関係に慎重になったらしいのよ。その女はどうも北条哲平と実婚らしい。綿流しも近いしね。お社様のたたりの5年目をなんとか阻止したい警察が北条哲平が今年の犠牲者じゃないかとマークして釣り糸を垂らしてるって話みたい。
釣り糸って何なんですか？
北条哲平をマークしてればお社様のたたりの真犯人を釣り上げられると睨んでるのよ。
なんてことだ。では
リカちゃん、本当に申し訳ないんだけど。
Oh man.
警察のマークが外れるまで山犬には手の出しようがない。
そんな、山犬の方ならもっと困難な任務でもこなせるでしょうに。
それは入念な準備と計画に基づき、しかるべき木を見ての話で
Okay,
す。
so is she a mountain dog then? Is that like what she is? Is she like a merc? What the fuck are you?
通常は長い監視期間を設け、
She's very
その上
specifically
でタイ
saying
ミングを
we.
測ります。同等の任務なら半年から1年をかけるところです。今更言うことではありませんが、私たちは決して日の当たるところへ出ることができない存在です。日の元へ出たならば灰になる存在なのです。だからマークされ眩しく照らし出された今の状態では近づくことすらできない。
ではいつならその木だと言うんですか？
最も早くて綿流しの後ね。多分綿流しが終われば警察もマークを解くかもしれない。
But that would be too late. She's saying it'd be after Watanagashi. I didn't even know if that'd be the day or a year later. She also said it usually takes at least 6 months to prepare this kind of mission. That's too long. I thought this world was different, but that hope was slipping through my
では
fingers.
どうすれば里子ちゃんを救えると言うんですか？
日の当たる世界では日の当たる世界のルールで解決するのが筋かと思います。例えば警察へ相談する、児童相談所に相談する、差し当たっては学校、警察、あるいは
それは何度もやったけど無駄だった。
Uh-oh. Irie and Takano were surprised. They had never expected me to raise my voice. In fact, I didn't think myself that I would react this way, but I couldn't keep my emotions in check after Takano suggested all these meaningless
私は
solutions.
お前たちにずっと協力してきた。何の見返りも求めず、ただただこの身を捧げて協力してきた。それなのにどうして里子の一人だけが救えないというのか。あれだけの力を持ちながらどうして里子を救うことにのみ臆病なのか。何の力にもならない警察や役所。
I mean, she's not wrong. There's your moment of the night right there.
そして利用するだけして何も助けてくれないお前たち。もういい、もういい。私はよくわかった。この世界が袋小路だということがよくわかった。もうお前たちには興味ない。この世界にも未練はない。そうさ、あれだけの幸運に恵まれても。そうさそうさ、またいつもの運命。お前は山奥で焼かれて死ね。お前は睡眠薬で自ら死ね。
Oh, shit!
そして私は当然のようにまた死のう。どういう殺され方をするのか未だに知らず命を散らそう。ここは運命の袋小路、行き止まり。私は生まれた時から殺されるために生かされている。みんな死ね死ね、みんな死ね。どうせ終わる世界なんだ。消えてしまえ。うわ
Oh, man. I can't put words to my emotions anymore, and I started to cry. I was so lucky up until yesterday. I had so much hope in my heart, but it all had been for nothing. It felt like everything was falling apart. I've lived for more than 100 years. I've lived longer than a normal human lifetime. I thought I was blessed with good fortune that for the first time in my life, this would never happen to me again. I thought a miracle had occurred, but everything was shattered. I cried and cursed this world. I needed to give up on my life as soon as possible. Satoko would be waiting for me with a smile in the next one. I wanted to go see her, but what would happen to the Satoko in this world? What would happen if I abandoned her? I didn't know, and I didn't care. Satoko, Satoko, Satoko. I'm a witch who has lived for 100 years, but I still couldn't rid myself of the human emotions in my heart. Oh, God, that sucks. I didn't get anything to eat because Satoko was supposed to be making dinner tonight. but I didn't have an appetite anyway, so I figured I should just go to bed. I still had to make lunch for the next day, though. Satoko might come back to school tomorrow. I rinsed the rice, hoping that I wouldn't have to waste the lunch that I was making for the two of us. I had to stop thinking like that. I already knew it was a waste to make her lunch. I already knew that Satoko wasn't coming to school ever again. I felt so miserable while rinsing the rice. The tears started dropping as I thought about her. Teppei came back. And we just got turned down by Takano because we asked her if the protection she was giving us could be used to take out the uncle, and she told us no. So, things are not good. How's it going, Raven? Hope you're doing well. Why was this happening in this world? I thought everything changed when Keiichi gave that doll to Mion. In that world, Mion pretended to be her sister for a week and got closer to Keiichi, but that wasn't happening this time. I thought we would be having a good time until the festival. That's odd. Wasn't that club activity 2 weeks before Watanagashi? I had realized something. The club activity was exactly the same, but it happened 1 week earlier than in the world I knew of. It was 1 week earlier than in my previous life. I get it now. I thought I was familiar with this world, but it was actually a different one where events are mixed up. That means that even though Keiichi gave the doll to Mion, that didn't solve everything. I thought I was getting lucky. I was confident that everything was going to be okay. I stopped making an effort. I knew that there was a possibility that Satoko's uncle was coming back, but I let her go to the grocery shopping. I would have been more careful and kept her home if I knew he was coming back to get her. I should be more careful in my next life, but there wouldn't be a next life that was so fortunate. I didn't get lucky that often. Even if I locked Satoko inside the closet, it would be over if Rena's father messed up something or if Keiichi lost his mind. I have to clear up everything that's not within my reach, and I also have to make the best effort I can. Without that, I can't overcome the fate of 1983. In this life, I may be able to overcome my deadly fate with Takano's help, but Satoko will not be there in my future. That defeats the whole purpose. My goal is to survive this year while laughing with my best friends. I don't want to sacrifice Satoko in order to survive. I didn't want to live in a world without her. I was blessed with all these fortunes, but I still couldn't defeat my destiny. I ruined everything because I stopped working so hard. I will never again have a lucky life like this. I lost my first and only chance. Or at least she's not being kept, in a trash can, I guess. I cried and scratched at the floor. I didn't know if I should curse my fate or curse myself for not putting forth enough effort. But before I realized that Hanya was standing in front of me, I didn't know how long she'd been there. She stared down at me with a look of pity on her face.
あんたの言いたいことは分かってる。だから運命に期待するなと言った。でしょ。期待するななんて酷な話よ。あれだけ全てに恵まれた。サイコロを振る前から6が出ると確信できる世界なんて、あれだけの勢いがあればきっと打ち破れると信じた。それでもあんたは期待しすぎるなと。
She probably felt something strange at the toy store that day. She realized that the date was 1 week off and that it was not the same old world that I knew. She had realized early on that I still shouldn't be too excited about this life.
僕もリカと一緒にいて短くないのです。だからリカに聞かれると思って先に言いますです。僕にも今日の運命など分かりませんでしたです。ただ僕から助言できるのはただ一つ。この世の運命なんて秋の空より気まぐれで一喜一憂するにも当たらない祭事に過ぎないということなのです。
There are 6 sides on a die. That's the reality of it, and it doesn't mean that the 6 is the best number either. I should just take any number that I roll. I shouldn't be disappointed if I roll 1 a few times in a row. It's pathetic how I thought rolling a 6 was the best result you could obtain.
100年ちょいを生きるくらいじゃ、そこまで悟るなんて難しいわね。
So are we gonna try and pull out of this nosedive? There might be a chance to save this.
でもリカ、僕も何度か言いましたが、今回の世界は奇跡ではありませんです。我慢強く待てばきっとまた巡ってくる世界なのです。
I don't think waiting is the right idea either.
我慢強く待てばって。
Exactly.
それは
Like, she
何十年後。
literally can't. She doesn't have it anymore. Like, she's mentally
何
done.
百年後の話なの。もう私たちには力は残っていない。多分再び世界をやり直しても昭和、それどころか戻れる時間はどんどん短くなっていく。そんな短い日々を再び奇跡が起こるまで。
At the very least, we can bet that at this point, Rika is a straight A student.
数年を繰り返す世界ですら狂ってしまいそうになるというのに、たった 1,2 週間の世界を再び奇跡が起こるまで永遠に生き続けろというの。無理よ、無理無理、絶対無理。
No, after 5, she's gotta wait 540 more years. I was betting on this world. I bet all my coins on this one world, and I lost. I lost all my coins to this fate. I have no more coins left in my heart. Dang, dude. The coins are known as hope. I have no coins left to hope for my dreams to come true.
リカ、
I lay on the floor as I collapsed. The floor should have been cold, but I didn't feel
これが
anything.
希望をすべて打ち砕かれるということね。
I always thought people could survive as long as they had some bread and water, but that's not right. People can't live without hope. People can survive because they believe in something good will happen to them eventually as long as they keep on living, but that's just for normal people who don't know what awaits them in their future. There's no such hope for a witch like me.
もう何もかもがどうでもいい。この世界だけじゃない。これからの世界もすべてどうでもいい。このまま灰になってしまえたら。
リカ、そんなことを言ってはダメなのです。
After 5 is here right now. It's like, who the fuck is Hanyu? What is going on? I'm literally so confused.
リカ、リカ。
Hanyu's voice gradually fades away. I slowly lost my senses as I lay on the kitchen floor and let myself sink into the darkness. Hanyu is our ghost girlfriend. She's also Oyashiro-sama. We've come to find out. But there's, like I said, you're just gonna have to watch the VODs. There's so much going on here. I dragged my body to school, hoping that Satoko might be there. But just as I expected, there was no one sitting in her seat. I felt all more devastated just seeing it empty. I had nothing left to bet on. All I could do was get hurt and suffer devastation. Blood flowed from my broken heart and found its way through my eyes in the form of tears.
フルデさん、どうしましたか？今日は北条さんはお休みですか？
The whole class was wondering why I came in late today and why Satoko wasn't with me. But even if I felt sympathy from everyone's eyes on me, I didn't feel any promise from them. No one here was able to save Satoko. No one. No one could save her. Why should I have to keep smiling at all these useless people? This world is finished anyway. If I leave matters alone, then in a few days after Watanagashi Festival, my movie reel will be cut as I'm murdered like usual, and I'll return to the beginning of this month again. And so I'll continue to live forever in June 1983, trapped here. Even death won't set me free from this prison.
フルデさん、何かあったなら話してください。北条さんは今日はどうしたんですか？風邪でお休みですか？
うるさいな。
No, don't do that. Don't, Rika. Let's not. The whole class gasped. No one expected Rika Furude to talk like that. I myself made such blunt statements a few times in several past worlds, but it was always the first time anyone in the world had heard anything like that. This must have been very easy for them, and I envied it.
Furude-san.
Chie was standing there dumbfounded. I stood up from my seat. If Satoko wasn't around, I didn't want to be locked up inside this humid place. I'm not coming here anymore. Goodbye. I felt like saying something like that. However, I retained the small hope that Satoko might go to school the next day, so I kept it to myself. However, Chie wouldn't let me go. She grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to the teacher's office instead. Chie told me to take a seat on a couch by the principal's office. She had no right to tell me what to do. I could just escape through the open window. As I didn't have that kind of energy, however, I sat on the couch like she told me to. I realized then that I didn't even have the energy to be rebellious. Maybe Satoko felt the same. She lost the energy to rebel, and so she was simply obeying her uncle.
Furude-san. 何があったか話してください。先生はきっと力になれますよ。
Chie spoke to me, but I already knew that her words were empty. All she could do was call the Child Consultation Center. She wouldn't go to the Hojo residence and pull Satoko out of there. So there was no point in even discussing the topic with her. If I told her, she wouldn't keep it to herself, and shortly everyone would know about what was happening to Satoko. It would only result in chaos. If they call the Child Consultation Center, the staff from there will go and visit Satoko. Her uncle will deny the abuse, and Satoko will also deny it because of the guilt she feels over Satoshi leaving. Shortly after, they'll find out about the false reports Satoko made before, and they'll decide not to proceed any further. Her uncle will allow Satoko to go to school for a few days, but his abuse will get worse because he'll think that she's the one who called the Child Consultation Center. He'll do horrible things to her, just like her aunt did last year. Calling the Child Consultation Center will not help Satoko. It will instead put her in an even worse situation. It's better not to notify them at all. But if we don't report it, then how else in the world are we supposed to improve? No. Nothing is going to change. There's nothing that can be done once this unfortunate fate overtakes Satoko.
北条さんのおじさんが？それは本当ですか？
I had somehow answered all of Chie's questions without noticing. I knew that nothing would change whether I spoke to her or not, so I just told her everything, because I had no energy to rebel.
だいたい状況はわかりました。大変なことになりましたね。で、そこまで知って、あなたは何ができるの？
Chie answered right away without faltering, already used to my spiteful tone.
今日、夕方に家庭訪問に行ってみます。まずは聡子ちゃんに会って事情を聞いてみます。それで問題があるようならば。
Well, I mean, we were the one that dabbed on darkness, so like we are the dabbing friend.
児童相談所に相談するって言うんでしょ。聡子は過去に嘘の通報をした記録が残ってると思うからね。虐待の確たる証拠がないと動いてくれないわ。人が殺されるまで捜査をしてくれない警察と全く同じよ。聡子が殺されるまで相談所は動いてなんかくれない。そうすると相談所も学校もこう言うの。いじめの兆候は全くなかった。普段は明るくて全く予見できなかったって。誰かが用意してくれたコメントを読み上げるみたいに同じことを言うのよね。本当にバカばっかね。そこはきっと相談所の人が何とかしてくれると思います。私も北条さんの窮状をしっかり訴えます。
I think we're at like level 3 despair right now. You've done the same in previous lives too. I wasn't denying her passion, but I couldn't say that there was meaning to it. The problem wasn't with Chie, the problem was with them. No matter how hard Chie tried to seek help from child services, it meant nothing as long as they held biased notions about Satoko.
そんなの証拠があるかどうかなんて関係ないじゃないですか。
Hi, when did you get here? I suddenly heard a voice from the hallway. Things are about to pick up. Oh boy. It was Shion's voice. Chie shouted, "Who's there?" and I heard Mion gasping, "Crap!" They must have been listening in on our conversation. They were having a quiet discussion outside the door, but Shion accidentally raised her voice. She gets so violent sometimes.
Guys, Shion gets so violent sometimes.
4 people entered the room from the hallway. Shion, Keiichi, and Rena. What?
実習だと言ったはずですよ。委員長は皆さんを連れて教室に戻りなさい。
Hold on. 4 people entered into the room from the hallway. Mion, Shion, Keiichi, and Rena. Okay, I missed Mion there for a second. She gets so violent sometimes.
そんな場合じゃないです。聡子に何かあったら先生、どう責任を取るつもりなんですか？
Shion is here to save this situation.
取れないでしょ？ひよってる場合じゃないです。すぐに行動を起こさなきゃダメです。お姉のバカとかはちゃんとした証拠がないとむしろ事態を悪化させかねないとか言ってますけど、そんな証拠が残った後じゃ遅いんです。ミオンは聡子を見殺しにする気？そこまでは言ってないよ。さっきも言ったように、聡子には過去に沖宮の相談所に嘘の通報電話をした経験があって、それ以来マークされてるんだよ。だからしっかりした証拠がなければ必ず訪問調査だけして様子見ってことになる。それはどういうことか考えなよ。おじの怒りに油を注ぐだけ。聡子を余計追い詰めるだけなんだよ。
くそ、なんだよそれはよ。何かある前に手を施すのが救うってことだろ。
Everybody's mad.
聡子に何かあるまで放置しろってのか。
みんな落ち着いて。
Yes, we need a calming voice here right now, I think.
私もしーちゃんやケイイチくんと同じ意見。何かあるまで様子を見ようなんてのは絶対思わない。
I bet Shion's got like 4 or 5 solutions to this shit.
なら何が
But
で
yes,
きる
one
の
of
か
them is
考えな
obviously
くちゃ。
Kasai.
何かってなんだ。児童相談所に相談することだろ。絶対に助けてくれるならいいが、様子見になる確率が高いってミオンはそう言ってるわけだろ。
Yeah, Curry is not there. You might say that nobody's going to curry favor with them in this situation right now.
悔しいけど、昨年がそうだったように今年もそうなる可能性が極めて高い。しかも今年は昨年に比べたら状況がまだまだ甘いの。去年は聡子が十分に追い詰められている状態だった。でも今回はまだおじに連れ去られて1日しか経ってない。しかもおじは1年間放置していたとはいえ親権を持ってるし。そんな回りくどいことなんか必要ないでしょ。そんな野郎待ち伏せてぶっ殺してやればいい。
Okay, Shion. Shion has a solution, everybody. She is the second person in this chapter to have put the murder word on the table.
しーちゃん、そんなのダメ。サトシ君はそんなのを絶対に喜ばないよ。じゃあサトコをどうやって助ければいいんです？サトシ君に頼まれた。サトコを頼むって頼まれた。
Oh man, she remembers. Yes. Okay, this makes her a very powerful ally. We know this girl's passionate, okay? She is nothing if not passionate. So she's remembered the promise.
私、サトコに何かあったら、サトシ君に顔向けできないよ。
It hurts again, anew.
さとこがいじめ抜かれた後じゃないと手が打てないなんて、そんなの方法じゃない。目の前で現在進行している犯罪はまず通報するの？
Yep.
違うでしょ。止めなきゃ。私たちの手で自ら止めなきゃ。落ち着きなよ、シオン。おねえ、その先本家の当主でしょ。
Uh-oh. Oh, God.
本家の力でサトコを助けてよ。できるでしょ。
Uh-oh.
サトコ一人を助けるくらいの力は十分にあるでしょうね。分かってるよ。ダム戦争で遺恨が残る北条家には一切関わらないってばあさんの方針なんでしょ。サトコがどうなろうと見て見ぬふりというのがその先本家の方針なんでしょ。沖宮の相談所に助けられなくて園崎家にも助けられないなら私がやるしかないじゃないですか。私がやるよ。サトコを不幸にする奴はぶっ殺してやる。
Oh, no.
今すぐ殺してやる。この場からサトコの家まで行って刺し殺すのに
Shio, no! Oh, no! She did it! She made the reference! Son of a bitch! God damn it, Shion! Shion, what are you doing? Shion, what are you doing? And that's what we call framing. We're back. Don't worry. It's all good. I think. Maybe? No? Good? Sorry about that. I think we frame-ed a little bit. Yeah, she said the thing! She said the thing. Oh my god, Shion, what are you doing? Oh, Lord. This girl. I swear. What can you do in 1500 seconds?
何もできないでしょ。私が助ける。私がサトコを助けるの。
What are we gonna do in 1500 seconds? Let's go! Let's figure out what we can do in 1500 seconds. No. Get this girl back here! Get this girl back!
シオンさん、お静かになさい。物騒なことをこれ以上言うと怒りますよ。
They were desperately discussing how to save her. I just sat on the couch and stared at them vaguely. I had seen this same discussion many times in many different situations. I was tired of listening to it. You can heat up a bowl of soup? Yeah, you could probably do that. The only difference was that everything was happening a few days earlier than usual.
リカ、大丈夫。もう何にも期待なんかしないから。期待なんてどこにも残ってない。
Tanya made a sad expression. I couldn't tell if she was sad about her fate or if she was taking pity on me. Just as she promised, Chie went to Satoko's house after school. It had only been a day since Satoko's uncle took her away. She wouldn't be able to tell if he'd hurt her already or not. Well, you said you saw that she got beat up yesterday, so... If the students hadn't made such a big fuss about it, Chie would have waited a couple days before going to her house. Chie murderer? You think she's gonna be the one to go this time? She already knew, however, about what happened to Satoko in the previous year. She also knew that her uncle was abusing her just like her aunt, and that he had neglected to act as her guardian for the whole year. Considering those factors, it might not have been too soon for her to visit the Hojo residence. Satoko hadn't shown up to school that day. No one called the school to explain her absence. That alone was proof that her uncle wasn't taking responsibility as her guardian. Chie was going to her house to see what was going on with her own eyes. She parked the car in the street and checked the map she brought from the school. It said Hojo residence on the sign in front of the house. Chie was certain this had to be the place. The window on the second floor was open, and she couldn't see a curtain hanging there. From that window, she could hear the laughing voices of several old men. No one had answered the phone when she called right after leaving the school. She could also hear the clicking noise of mahjong tiles, along with the voices. She had never played mahjong before, but it had a pretty good idea that it was from the way the men were talking. If they were playing mahjong, there would have been 3 other men inside the house. Her students had told them that Satoko's uncle was a very violent man. Chie was a teacher, true, but she was also just a young lady. She felt hesitant to ring the doorbell after hearing their disgusting laughter. But courage drove her forward. She made her decision and rang the doorbell. She heard the doorbell ring inside the house, but the laughing voices continued to echo from the second floor. It seemed as though they didn't hear the bell. She rang the bell again, and this time the laughter stopped for a moment. Someone must have heard that sound, but soon after they started laughing again. It didn't sound like anyone was coming to get the door. She thought someone heard the bell, or perhaps not. Chie was sure they were home, of course. She couldn't leave just because no one was answering the door. She knocked and yelled loudly this time.
こんにちは。北条さん、いらっしゃいませんか?
Finally, the laughter stopped and a man with a scary look on his face opened the door.
なんじゃいね踊れは。やかましかとっととうせえ。
Chie felt intimidated by him, but her heart was filled with teacher's pride and responsibility.
こんにちは。北条さんでいらっしゃいますか? 私。
Before she could introduce herself, Teppei screamed at her.
やかましか。新聞も牛乳も保険も間に合っとんねん。わしゃ今むっちゃ忙しいよ。仕事中じゃいねん。
Working. The people in the room laughed when he told her that he was working. Chie wouldn't give up. She continued to speak.
私、ひなみ沢文庫教諭の知恵と申します。北条さと子さんはいらっしゃいますか?
なあ、なんじゃよ踊れ。なんで踊りにさと子合わせにならんねん。
今日北条さんが学校をお休みしましたけれど、連絡がなかったもので何かあったのかと思いお伺いさせていただきました。
ああ、学校？
はい。さと子ちゃんはいますか？ちょっとお話ししたいことがあるのですが。
ああ、風邪なんね。そうそう。さと子は風邪で熱出してるんですわ。
プリントとかをお渡ししたいので、ちょっとだけお話しすることはできませんか？
ドアホ！踊れ話聞いてなかったんかい。さと子は風邪じゃ。うなっとるね。それを合わせられるかいボケ。
そうですか。明日は登校できそうですか？
知るかいな。そんなもん明日になってみなきゃわからんわ。このクソボケ。
そうですか。わかりました。では、さと子ちゃんによろしくお伝えください。失礼します。
Chie bowed, but by the time she lifted her head, Teppei was no longer there. When Chie returned to the school, several students emerged from the classroom. There were Keiichi, Rena, Mion, and Shion. Rika was also still inside the classroom, but she wouldn't come outside.
先生、どうでしたか？さと子のとこに行ってきたんですよね。皆さん、それが聞きたくて待っていたんですか？
知恵先生、さと子はどうでしたか？無事でしたか？
それが会わせてもらえませんでした。
Hi, Frames, can we please stop this? Thank you. I don't know what's causing it, but man. ISP just being real shitty the last week or so, and it's really getting on my nerves.
あんた何しに行ったんですか？教師でしょ？ガキの使いじゃないんです。会えませんでした。そうですかで帰ってきちゃ意味ないじゃないですか。やめなよ、シオン。そんなこともあるだろうって予想できたことだよ。どうせさと子の顔に青あざがあるに決まってます。だから会わせられないんです。 そこは無理やり押しのけても家の中に踏み入るくらいしなきゃダメなんです。だからもう先生なんて信用できないって言いました。
本当にごめんなさい。
やめなよ、しーちゃん。先生はできる範囲の最善を尽くしてくれたよ。
だがこれで本当にはっきりしたな。その里子のおじってやつが里子を家に閉じ込めているってのはどうやら間違いないみてえだ。
そんなの確かめる前から分かってます。リカちゃまがそうだって昼間からずっと言ってるじゃないですか。それを確かめるだけに半日費やしたんですよ。それでどうするんですか？どうやって里子を助けるつもりですか？だから落ち着きなって。それをみんなで考えようよ。シオンが里子のことを大事だと思うように、決して見殺しになんかしない。私たちにできることを考えようよ。そうですね。私はもう考えて提案しましたよ。
Shion, we know what your
私が
opinion
たった一人で
is.
今日中に決着できるものすごくお手軽な方法です。死体を隠すとこだけお姉の力を借りますが。
Shion, we gotta pull you back from that edge a little bit. Gotta pull you back from the
だから
ledge.
しーちゃん、
Stop it.
物騒な話をするのはやめて。しーちゃんは人殺しのことを簡単に考えすぎなの。
Don't do a murder.
人を殺せば解決できるなんて考え方は、およそ思いつく考えの中で最低の最低、本当の最低のことなの。なら他に提案をしてみてくださいよ。私の提案が最低の最低なら、私よりほんのちょっぴり上等な程度でいいですから、代案を聞かせてください。ほらほら、何も言えないじゃないですか。私なら1500秒で里子を救える。
Shion, you keep saying that. It's dangerous to think this way, especially in 1500-second intervals.
お姉の力なんか借りられなくてもいい。死体なんか私が引きずって鬼ヶ淵の沼にでも放り込んでやる。
Saying all of this in front of the teacher. Maybe calm thy tits, ma'am.
ほら、提案してくださいよ。これより早くてすぐに里子を救える方法を。
Oh boy. Loving the internet right now. It's fantastic. It's great. Love it. Why? Why is this happening? There's literally no reason this should be happening. Good. Yay. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Just ruining everything.
だからそうじゃないの。一人で悩んだらそんなことしか考えられないの。ならはっきり言ってあげるよ。1500秒？かかりすぎでしょ、そんなの。私なら1000秒かけないよ。
Oh, okay. Now we're just gonna say who can do it better and faster. We're going to speedrun saving Satoko.
しーちゃん
Murder
なんかみ
percent,
たいにぐ
right?
ちぐち言わずに黙って教室を出て行ってもう実行してるよ。なんでそうしないと思う？昔誰かに教えられたことがあるの。たとえそれしか方法がなかったとしても殺人に訴えるのはいけないこと。正しいことじゃない。最善手なんかじゃないの。それしかないと思ってしまうことが一人で悩むことの限界なの。
A long time ago, I didn't know who told me this, but someone taught it to me. If there's something that troubles you, you can't think about it all on your own. You can't think about your own solutions is the best way to conclude things.
みんなで考える。みんなで悩む。確かに、今この瞬間は、しーちゃんの短絡的な提案に対する提案をできないけど、私たちがみんなで考えれば、絶対にそれよりいい解決策が見つけられるよ。
いいとか悪いとかの問題じゃないです。1分1秒でも無駄な時間を費やせば、サトコがどんな乱暴されるか考えればいいじゃないですか。北条って性がそんなに憎らしい？サトシ君やサトコがどんなに辛くても誰も手を差し伸べないの？私が助ける。ご託なんてもうたくさん。そこをどいてよ。そこまで言うなら今から行ってくる。あいつをサクッと殺してサトコを助け出してくる。
ダメだよしーちゃん。しーちゃん。
お前たちは呪ってろ。自分たちの無力さをいつまでも。そしてより集まって思いつきもしない妙案を議論し合えばいい。そうしてサトコのために何かしているという免罪符を得ながらサトコを看板に見殺しにしていけばいい。あんたたちは誰もサトコのことを大事に思ってないんだ。
Guys, this is rough.
サトコのことなんか遊び友達だとしか思ってないんだ。私は違う。サトコは友達以上家族だとすら思ってる。あんたたちとはサトコを大事に思う心が違うの。じゃあね、殺してくるね。さようなら。
待ちな。
No.
何を邪魔する気ですか？
シオン、お前レナの言ったことが半分も理解できてねえだろ。
半分どころかお釣りが来るくらいに理解してますよ。殺しをするほんのちょっとの度胸があればすぐに救えるのに、それをきれい事でごまかす偽善の話ですよね。
シオン、お前が人殺しをしてまでサトコを救ったとしてサトコは感謝すると思ってるのか？
感謝が欲しいわけじゃないです。別に私は差し
Can
違え
this
てもいい。
boy talk down? Our beloved cutthroat.
それでサトコが幸せになれるなら本望なんですから。
I don't think she's gonna be happy if you get your hands dirty.
違うな。口先の威勢はなかなかいいが、お前には差し違える度胸なんかありゃしねえな。その証拠に、お前はさっきミオンに死体を隠すのを頼みたいようなことを言ったじゃねえか。それはつまり差し違えたくない。
Yep.
おじをぶっ殺した後、元の平穏な生活に戻りたいって願望の表れじゃねえか。お前が本当に望んでいる世界はついこの間までの世界。俺たちみんなが仲良く楽しく過ごしていたあの世界への回帰なんだ。だがな、お前が殺人を犯せば絶対にその世界へは戻れない。そうそう簡単に完全犯罪なんかができると思うなよ。お前は絶対に逮捕される。
Yeah, there ain't no such thing as a perfect crime. Ask Keiichi. He knows.
それくらい覚悟の上です。サトコの苦しみを私が懲役で変われるなら本望です。
God damn. Like, okay, boy, he's got to do more work here. This ain't working.
違うな違うな。絶対にそれは違う。お前は自分を呪うぜ。かけてもいい。どうして自分が殺人なんて貧乏くじを引かなくちゃならなかったのか、未練がましく自分を呪うんだ。そしてその時になってようやくシオンが本当に求めていたことに気がつくんだよ。それは叔父を殺すことじゃない。みんなと元の世界に戻ることだ。そしてそれは殺人を犯すことで台無しになってしまうんだよ。そしてお前が自分を呪うようにサトコも自分を呪うだろうな。自分が原因でシオンが殺人を犯す羽目になったとずっと後悔すると思う。第一、お前がいなくなったら誰がサトコにカボチャを食わせるんだよ。
He's got a point. Who's gonna make Satoko eat squash if they're locked up? That ain't gonna work.
誰がサトコと陰険なトラップの相談をするんだよ。お前だろ。 園崎シオンだろ。お前が本当に目指す世界にはお前が聡子の脇にいなければダメなんだよ。そこを間違えるな。聡子のためだと錯覚して自ら取り返しのつかない間違いを犯すんじゃない。
そこまで言うならケイちゃんは聡子を救う方法を何か提案できるんですか？できないでしょ。口先だけの綺麗事で。だからそこをどいて殺す。私が今から殺しに行く。
Oh, shit! Keiichi blocked her way by standing in front of the door. Shion gave him a hateful glare, but he just sent back a confident smile. Oh, shit. Oh, shit! Are we gonna throw down?
俺たちの望む世界はシオンが欠けたら成立しない。
Oh.
だから俺はお前を生かさないぞ。
Our boy's making big strides here.
ならケイちゃんは北条哲平をかばってるってわけですね。なら同罪だ。お前から先に頭を叩き割ってやる。
Oh shit! She's gonna go WWF on us.
バカシオン。
Oh no!
やめなよ。シオンさん、その椅子をどうするつもりですか？やめなさい。椅子を床に置きなさい。ケイちゃんがこの後に及んでまだ私が本気だって分かってないならマジで血見ます。謝んなくていいですからとっととどきやがれってんです。
シオン、確かに今この瞬間俺はよりいい提案をできない。でもそれは今思いついてないだけのことだ。
Yeah, like this girl's got experience. She knows how to beat a kid in a classroom.
俺たちはきっと聡子を助けるもっとマシな方法を考え出す。絶対にだ。絶対に俺たちが聡子を救う。だからな、信じろ。
仲間である聡子のために手を汚さない連中に聡子を仲間呼ばわりされたくないです。もう一度は言わない。そこをどきやがれ。
シオンこそ頭を冷やして考え直せ。俺たちはきっと聡子を救える。それを信じろ。だから短絡的な考えに走るんじゃない。仲間を信じろ。仲間呼ばわりされたくないってんなら俺を前原圭一が必ず聡子を救う。だからそいつにかけてみろ。
黙れ無力。お前なんか信じられるか。お前にどうやって聡子が救えるというのか。シオン。
Shion threw the chair at Keiichi. It hit him on the head, and the chair fell to the floor with a loud noise. God damn, she did it! But Keiichi was unfazed even after being struck. He stood in front of the exit without even covering his face. Holy shit! What a dude! Holy shit! He wasn't unfazed. A trail of blood was pouring from his forehead where the corner of the chair hit him.
答えねえな。その程度で俺が道を譲ると思ったかよ。殺されたって俺はここをどかねえぞ。お前を生かせればシオンのいない世界になる。その世界ではいなくなったお前のことをずっと思って毎日うつむいている聡子がいるんだ。俺たちがどうやって慰めてもその場だけは元気そうにするがすぐにまたうつむいてしまう。そんな悲しい世界があるんだ。俺は聡子にそんな悲しい世界を見せたくない。俺たちが描く世界は昨日までがそうだったようにみんなで楽しく過ごして暴れて遊べるあの世界だ。もちろんおじの野郎なんかに二度と聡子を泣かすような真似はさせない。それがどういう方法なのか今この場では確かに思いついていない。でもそれは絶対に思いつく。絶対だ。だから俺を信じろ。
Shion wasn't yet convinced, but even so, she walked to the window and took her seat. Somebody rested a hand on Keiichi's shoulder. It was the principal. He had been standing there and listening to him for a while.
校長先生。
よく耐えた。千恵先生、
一部始終は聞かせてもらいましたぞ。
He talked her down.
私が至らぬばかりに申し訳。
昨日の今日の出来事ではあるが、わしももはや猶予のならない事態だと思っておる。しかるべきところへすぐに連絡するべきであろう。
でも校長先生、児童相談所には過去にも相談したことがあって。
どうせ助けてなんかくれませんよ。他力本願もいいとこです。
Shion raised her voice. The principal looked at Shion and started talking.
園崎シオン君、私は言葉の中で最も憎むべきものがあるのを知っている。それが何かわかるかね。今君が言ったどうせという言葉だ。どうせという言葉は戦いもせず負けを認める最も醜い言葉だ。その言葉を口にしたときすでに戦いには負けておるのである。
私も校長先生の意見に賛成。どんな策があるにせよ、頼るべき順序があると思うの。生活相談所に相談するのは、多分、一番最初にするべきことなんだと思う。それでダメなら、2番目の手、3番目の手を考えればいい。
Actually stepping in, saying
試しもし
something.
ないうちから諦めるのは、私は見殺しにするのと何も変わらないと思うから。
校長、もちろん通報するからには絶対里子を助けてもらえるように言い含めてくれるんですよね。
無論だ。北条君はわしの可愛い教え子である。きっと助けてもらえるようわしにできる最善を尽くす。
児童相談所は迅速ですから、今から通報すればきっと今夜には。
Now let's get Keiichi to the idiot clinic to take care of that concussion that he no doubt has.
それで里子が救われればいいんだけど、もしもまた様子見なんてことになったら。それがダメだったら次の手を考えようよ。私たちが諦めない限り絶対に里子ちゃんを救えるんだから。
いつまでも綺麗事を言っててください。そうしてのんびりしてるうちに里子は癒しようのない心の傷を負うんです。見殺しにしてるのはどっちなんですよ。
シオン、俺はさっき約束したからな。俺たちは絶対に里子を救う。それもお前みたいに差し違えてでもなんて話じゃない。里子が本当に幸せになれるような最高の形で救い出してみせる。見てろ、絶対だからな。前原圭一が絶対と言ったらそれは絶対なんだ。
Shion stared out the window without looking at Keiichi's face.
園崎家の方でこの後のことは確認するよ。分かったらみんなに電話するよ。
それで無事解決すれば最高だからな。
もちろん楽観はできないね。様子見になる可能性が一番高いね。そうなったらどうする？
その時はくそ。
知恵先生、職員室に行きましょうぞ。早速電話をしましょう。
ええ、よく説明しないといけません。
Keiichi, Ren, and Mion got together and discussed their other options. Shion was looking down and crying. Rika was just vaguely looking at them as if staring at a boring TV drama. Nothing will change. The Child Consultation Center will put her case on hold. I've seen it so many times in previous lives. I almost hope that they'll take her into custody just this once. But I have no more coins left to gamble on a hope like that. In a previous life, Keiichi killed Satoko's uncle, but Shion was not there when that happened. When she is, I suppose she's the one who takes on that role. Their pathetic hopes will be crushed by tomorrow morning. The social worker will be at her house tonight, but Satoko will deny that she's being abused. Her uncle will assume that she was the one who called the service, and he'll abuse her even more. She'll come to school tomorrow because she doesn't want because he doesn't want the child consultation center to be suspicious of him. We will feel more and more hopeless when we see that dead look in Satoko's eyes. I've been living for more than 100 years, but I've never defeated this fate. The fate of her uncle's return. I was blessed with so much luck, and I thought I could defeat it this time. But in the end, it all came down to the same thing. It was a waste of energy to put in any effort. It was worthless. All worthless. The more I thought about this inescapable fate, the more I pitied these people for talking endlessly about how they were going to save Satoko. Jesus, what a fucker of a note to end on. Oh, God. Wet blanket. Oh, good. 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 Just who I wanted a tip about. Teppei returned to Hinamizawa to escape some trouble. He'd have to stay there for the rest of the summer, perhaps the whole year, and see what happened. For him, the house in Hinamizawa was like a rather dull hiding place. His lover Rina had suddenly disappeared. Rumors said that she was involved with some dangerous deal. Some source even told him that she had already been caught and killed. Everyone he knew was aware that Rina was living with him. Everyone also assumed that he knew everything about what Rina did. They were convinced that he got money by tricking her into doing something, and as a result, some dangerous men were after him. That made it difficult for him to stay in Okinomiya. You've hit L5? Dang. More than anything, it pissed him off to find out that Rina was cooking up something behind his back with some other guys. Hinamizawa was about the only place he could go. He couldn't go back to the house where he used to live with his wife, as it had been abandoned since he moved into Satoko's house. Besides, he didn't even have the key to the old house. But if he went to Satoko's house, she should still be there, and she could clean and cook for him. Teppei didn't know how to cook or clean, and he certainly wasn't thinking of learning. Rina had often been rebellious toward Teppei. He had often said that he wanted to be with someone more loyal, like a pet. For Teppei, Satoko was exactly what he wanted. As Satoko was a little kid, she can't satisfy him sexually, but he can at least make her wash his back in the bath. Satoko's dead mother used to be a pretty woman. Satoko might grow up and become a pretty lady herself in about 4 or 5 years. Teppei headed back to Hinamizawa with those indecent thoughts in his head. Fuck out of here! The house was locked, so he assumed that she was at the market or the grocery store shopping. He found her at the store and dragged her back home. However, the house was full of dust. She'd been living at her friend's house in the past year, and the house had been abandoned. Teppei exploded in anger. He told her that it was her responsibility to keep the house in order. He beat her and kicked her to the floor. Eventually, Satoko's expression returned to what he remembered from 1982. Satoko started obeying him immediately and cleaned up the house. A new place to hide with a new girl. His new life was starting out pretty good. Teppei called his buddies to show off his new beginning and ended up playing mahjong with them. He bragged about his new pet and made her serve them food and drinks. He told her to walk on all fours like a real pet. She refused, but she obeyed immediately when he tried to hit her. Everyone was laughing, and they were all jealous of him. Teppei felt really good about himself. However, someone arrived to interrupt his perfect life.
私、hinamizawa文庫教諭の千恵と申します。北条聡子さんはいらっしゃいますか?
He thought it was someone to sell insurance or something, but it was a school teacher.
なんじゃよ、踊れ。なんで踊れに聡子合わせにゃならんね。
今日、北条さんが学校をお休みしましたけれど、連絡がなかったもので、何かあったのかと思い、お伺いさせていただきました。
学校？
はい。聡子ちゃんはいますか？ちょっとお話ししたいことがあるのですが。
ああ、風邪なんね。そうそう。聡子は風邪で熱出しとるんですわ。
プリントとかをお渡ししたいので、ちょっとだけお話しすることはできませんか？
ドアホ。踊れ話聞いてなかったんかい。聡子は風邪じゃ。うねっとるんね。それ合わせられるかい、バカ。
This guy was good. This was going to cause him problems, Teppei realized. Satoko was just a pet for him, and he had no intention of sending her to school, but her teacher had shown up at his house just because she missed one day. This wasn't good. Teppei hates schools, and he especially hates teachers.
そうですか。明日は登校できそうですか？
知るかいな、そんなもん。明日になって見なきゃわからんわ。このクソボケ。
そうですか。わかりました。では、さとこちゃんによろしくお伝えください。
Rina never went to school and she turned out great.
失礼します。
He was able to get rid of the teacher, but it would create more problems if he didn't send Satoko to school tomorrow. Teppei didn't need even more trouble on his plate. That meant he couldn't beat up Satoko like he wanted to. Violence was the only way he knew how to communicate. With that out of the picture, it was very difficult for him. He wanted to beat up Satoko, but it would leave evidence on her bite. Jesus Christ! If that happened, he wouldn't be able to send her to school. And if she didn't go to school, that teacher would show up at the doorstep again. Shit. On top of all that, the Child Consultation Center paid a visit to his house that night. The teacher must have filed a report. That bitch, Teppei thought. Next time I'll beat her in the face so hard she'll need plastic surgery. Since Satoko was afraid of him, she pretended she was really sick when the social worker visited. It was so easy for Teppei to control her. He considered Satoko to be a convenient pet. But at the same time, he'd need to be careful of the consultation center. Well, I'm in despair. I feel positively slimy and like a big old piece of shit. What a fantastic note to end the stream on. But like I said, we will not be streaming again tomorrow because I will be attending Sayara's birthday stream. But we will be back Saturday evening for a twofer. So, yeah. Enjoy feeling like crap for the rest of your day, morning, night, evening, whenever you're watching this. Oh boy.